Hey everybody, and welcome to the Bullring post Memorial Day. I'm Alan Dietz, along with Jess Ballard, and
I'm glad you got my text about today's outfits.
I know. What did you really say when Will said something to you about we're connected, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah, I
we
know.
can whatever that is.
What am I thinking right now?
Thinking about hot dogs. All the hot dogs you ate over the weekend.
No, I only ate. Well, I ate 1.5. I think. Let's see who's on the show today. This is a pretty good show today. Not that they all aren't. Arie Luyendyk Jr. is going to join us as we get ready for must see this weekend at Lancaster. Bubba Pollard. He's had some interesting takes on things lately. We'll talk to him. Chase Pinsonneault after his big JEG CRA All-Stars win at Owasso. Gabe Brown coming off a Walls Platinum Series win at White Mountain. We'll get Toby's take with Toby Christie, and the Celebration of America 300 at Oxford Plains is coming up in July, and drivers have been testing there. We'll get to hear from Derek Nealon and Brandon Barker.
That'll be a good one.
Yep, that's going to be a good race, and a lot to look forward to here over the next several months. You got UARA at Owasso and Berlin and Jennerstown, Slinger National, Celebration of America coming up. Lots of big races here over the horizon. So
Thank goodness we have you to keep us straight. I can't remember all of them.
well, it takes a lot of effort, I must say. One of the races coming up, as I said, must-see racing sprint cars. They're going to be back on track up at Lancaster Speedway in New York. Arie Luyendyk Jr. will be there, and he will join us next.
5-star bodies, the most advanced bodies on the market, aerodynamically engineered, manufactured from the highest grade and lightest weight materials, tested tough for optimum performance. The highest quality and most durable products you'll find anywhere. Our products help racers around the world reach victory lane. Winning never looked so good. Faster, lighter, stronger, better. 5-star.
The Stars will be out at Oxford Plains Speedway July 2nd and 3rd, going for $40,000 to win in the All That's Metal Celebration of America 300. NASCAR champions Kyle Busch and Daniel Hemrick, along with short track legend Bubba Pollard, take on North America's best in a 300-lap battle. Plus, New England Super Modifieds going for $10,000 to win and more. It's the Celebration of America 300, July 2nd and 3rd at Oxford Plains Speedway, and you can see it only on Racing America.
Communication is key in the racing world. When it comes to at-the-track communications, there is only one place to call. Racing Electronics is the #1 source for professional race communications worldwide. Over 20 years in the business proves their dedication to the sport. With every driver and crew communication, two-way radios and headsets, scanners and more, Racing Electronics is a one-stop communication source for all your motorsports needs. Before the green flag flies, make sure you have all your team communication gear from Racing Electronics. Stop by and see a Racing Electronics representative at the track near you. Visit their showroom in Concord, North Carolina, or order online at racingelectronics.com.
One of the biggest racing events to ever hit the Northwest comes to Wenatchee Valley Super Oval Saturday, June 1st for the Wenatchee 200. See the West Coast's best grassroots racers as they compete for 200 laps and battle for $25,000 to the winner. Plus Thunder Cars and Legends. It's the Wenatchee 200 paying $25,000 to win at Wenatchee Valley Super Oval Saturday, June 1st. For more information, go to WVSO.com and you can watch it only on RacingAmerica.tv.
I'm Alex Bowman, and you're watching Racing America.
Glad to have you back with us here on the Bullring. Alan and Jess here with you. And on the poll today, our first guest is Arie Luyendyk Jr. And Arie, I appreciate you joining us today. Of course, the must-see racing sprints here on Racing America, they'll be at Lancaster Speedway in New York this weekend. And I know you're not going to be able to make it this weekend, but sounds like you got a busy summer ahead of you.
Yeah, excited to do the second half of the Must See Racing Tour. Yeah, it's just really exciting. The first event for me in Citrus County was a blast, and then obviously we moved to the Berlin Raceway, which I felt like my experience there. I struggled a little bit there, but that was definitely the quickest track that I've raced on in a sprint car. So I didn't really come to grips with it there. So we finished 11th, just outside of the top 10, but. Excited, man. This new sprint car journey of mine is something that's reinvigorated my passion for racing. The cars are so fun to drive, and I'm really proud to have Jiffy Lube come on board as a sponsor as well.
Yeah, and they're so fun to watch. I mean, I love watching this series. The cars are beautiful. Do you have one of those races that you're most looking forward to?
Now that I've been to Berlin, I'd love to, head back to Marne and really capitalize on, having some track time at that specific venue and to get better there. But yeah, I don't know. Sandusky looks interesting to me. I love the paperclip racetrack. It looks fast. And just kind of soaking it in and learning as I go. So just kind of taking each race by race, and just trying to improve every time.
And as we said, Must See Racing this weekend will be at Lancaster Speedway. That'll be the first time they've been there. And then you'll see Arie at Sandusky, Midvale, Berlin, and Owasso as it stands now. And, the thing about it is, and you mentioned Citrus and Jess talking about how fast these cars are. I don't understand how you can – the cars are so fast and the tracks are so short. It seems like it would be hard to even keep up with where you're at on the racetrack, let alone, I mean, if you're catching, lap cars or whatever, I mean, you just don't have a whole lot of time to plan ahead, I would assume.
Mhm. Yeah, the last race was a 30-lap feature. That went by so fast. That was a race that was kind of, I felt like, just started getting the swing of things, and it was over. So I feel like the real the hard part for me is to get on the pace quickly. I feel like the guys who are quick, they'll get in the car and they'll crack a fast lap time right out of the gate, and it's pretty impressive. I think that's kind of the thing that has taken me a little bit. Is like, typically I like to build in the speed and just sort of get to terms with the track. But that's been the most impressive thing about this, is how quickly these guys adapt to the track and how quickly they get up to speed. So that's been a point of content, a sticking point for me. But yeah, as far as the tracks go, the speeds are high, but it's more or less like, for me, the difference in racing like a rear engine car my entire life and now going to a front engine, the way the car moves underneath me is just a little foreign to me still, but I am getting more and more comfortable with it for sure.
Coming from a racing family, we've seen you in lots of different race cars. Will you be sticking to sprint cars for the rest of the year?
Yeah, I'd still love to do some stadium super truck races. I love that series. I think it's super fun.
Yeah, you got to be
But yeah,
crazy to do that too.
Yeah, that one is a little bit unique,
Yeah.
definitely. Takes a different type of driver to do that, somebody who's sort of adaptable. And that's kind of what I love, about racing, is like there's so many different types of racing, and that's why this has been so fun for me, because it's so different than anything I've driven before, that now it kind of makes me feel like I'm learning something new, even though I have all this experience in other cars. The sprint car is definitely something that's very unique. So after the race weekend's over, the last race, I was definitely disappointed. I felt like I made some big steps over the course of the last, I would say, I think I've only done like 5 or 6 events now. So now I feel like I've made some big steps, but then the last race, I was like, dang, you know what? I took a step back. So now I'm just sort of recuperating and getting my mindset back for the next event.
Coming off the Indy 500, the fact your dad won the race a couple of times, you've got to look at that place maybe a little bit different than somebody that doesn't have that type of connection with it.
Yeah, I mean, this last race on Sunday was incredible. It just shows you every year the Indy 500 impresses. It comes down to the last 2 laps. But yeah, I grew up going to the Indy 500 since I was a kid. I've been to almost every event since I was 3 years old. So I missed it this year. My daughter's birthday is actually on Memorial Day weekend typically. So I missed it this weekend, but yeah, the Indy 500 special, it's our family, and I love that race. I think that there's nothing else like it in the world. Being able to compete in that race is a definite huge honor for me. Um, and I've always been kind of like the feeder series to IndyCar, traditionally, um, back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, even 80s, and then even into the 2000s was sprint car racing. And it
Mm-hmm.
was always kind of a curiosity of mine, like how I came up was so different, the Formula Ford, Formula 2000, Indy Lights, typically more on road courses than ovals. So I was always curious about sprint car racing and what it took to be fast in that. And what I've kind of learned is that the sprint car guys that come over and do IndyCar are never short of bravery. I think that's kind of the thing. When you get a good sprint car driver like Davey Hamilton Jr. or Bobby Santos, I feel like they can drive almost anything, just because of how tricky those things are to master. And that's why this is such a cool challenge for me.
Well, I appreciate you being here with us today. We really look forward to seeing you in those must-see races later in the year. Good luck in those, and look forward to it.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on, and look forward to the next event.
All right, that's Arie Luyendyk Jr. When we come back, Bubba Pollard, he's going to have a busy summer too. We'll talk to him next.
It's the season opener at Spencer Speedway. Friday, May 31st, the Race of Champions Sportsman Modified Series returns to their stomping grounds at Spencer Speedway in Williamson, New York. Come see the Race of Champions Sportsman Modified, Super Stocks, 602 Sportsman, Fast and Furious Wilbur Hugh Pullet 4-cylinders, and the Wilbur Hugh Pullet Super 6s, where every lap counts. Brought to you by the Race of Champions, Wilbur Hugh Pullet and Billy Whitaker Ford. Friday night, May 31st, Spencer Speedway, racing at 7:15. You can't miss it.
This is Racing America, the biggest stars.
I enjoyed it. I felt good out there. I would love to come here and race.
And the inside info.
This is the T-bar setup. This clips into the bottom of the cam lock.
The only fast channel powered by the NASCAR Cup team owners who know all about speed.
How am I even going to drive for 3.5 hours without having a radio in the car?
The most NASCAR team content anywhere. Climb on board.
Communication is key in the racing world. When it comes to at-the-track communications, there is only one place to call. Racing Electronics is the #1 source for professional race communications worldwide. Over 20 years in the business proves their dedication to the sport. With every driver and crew communication, two-way radios and headsets, scanners and more, Racing Electronics is a one-stop communication source for all your motorsports needs. Before the green flag flies, make sure you have all your team communication gear from Racing Electronics. Stop by and see a Racing Electronics representative at the track near you. Visit their showroom in Concord, North Carolina, or order online at racingelectronics.com.
If you love late models, RacingAmerica.tv is the place to be. It begins Friday night, May 31st, with Pro Late Models at Five Flags Speedway. Then on Saturday, the Oxford Championship Series returns to Oxford Plains Speedway, featuring super late models and more. While West Coast racers go for $25,000 to win in the Wenatchee 200 at WVSO. It's all only on RacingAmerica.tv, your home for pavement late models.
Hey, I'm Bubba Pollard, and you're watching Racing America.
Glad to have you back with us on the Bullring, and joining us now, a driver who is always busy this time of year, and this year is no different. That is Bubba Pollard. Bubba coming off run the ASA Stars this past week at Hickory Motor Speedway. And Bubba, thanks for joining us today. And I do want to talk to you about Wenatchee coming up this weekend, going completely across the country to race out there in Washington. But I did want to well, first off, we haven't talked to you since the Xfinity Series race. What did you learn about that race at Richmond? I mean, did the Xfinity car, what surprised you about it?
Really the whole thing. I really wasn't sure what to expect, really, but had to learn a lot pretty quick of how those cars react, and catch on with the racetrack and things like that. So we had to get up to speed pretty quick, and I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I got to do it one time, and say I got to do it. So we had a good finish. I felt like if we had some better pit stops, better day on pit road, I think we'd have had a little better finish. But all in all, I had a good time.
I know that was so exciting for not only your fans, but just short track fans in general to watch you run that race. And, speaking of that, I think, you've kind of taken some different directions this year with the short track stuff, and everyone is wondering what the rest of the season looks like for you. And I know sometimes, speaking from experience, it can be kind of annoying when people keep asking you what's the plan and what's going on, maybe when you don't even know where you're going to be 6 months from now. But can you share with us what your plans are in terms of equipment is for the rest of the season?
Yeah, really, I have no idea. I don't really know what's going on. We're kind of we started the year off pretty strong there, but as we got further on into the year, we have experienced a lot of issues with the engines. We wrecked at Five Flags, so it's just really put us behind on our whole year. And I've been a big believer in if you're not prepared, don't go to the racetrack. So you win races at the shop, not before you even get to the track, really. So without being prepared, I just really hadn't had the urge to go. So we've been racing a lot of the dirt stuff here. The last couple of weeks, we've had some rainouts and things like that. But we're going to drive for some other people coming up in Wenatchee, and I think State Line later on in July. We're going to travel back out there to do the Idaho 200. So we're going to do that, run some dirt races, and then we're in the process of getting our program back together. We got some engines, two new engines coming with pretty much two brand new race cars that'll be here that we're building. So we'll have those ready in a couple weeks, and we'll see how the year goes. We've been thankful to have Tony and Amber Elrod give us the opportunity to run at Mobile and also at Hickory to keep our points to where we need to be. So I don't know if we're going to finish out the series or what our plans hold to this point, but we got a lot going on. Just really have no idea. We're going to kind of just go with the flow and wing it and see if we can't get back in the swing of things.
Well, mentioning Wenatchee, of course, that'll be Saturday here on Racing America. Bubba Pollard will be there. Jacob Gomes, I think Michael Atwell's going. There's a lot of folks heading out there. $25,000 to win. I don't think you've been to Wenatchee before, so how do you approach, going to these racetracks that you don't have a lot of experience with, especially racing around folks that maybe you don't know as well as others?
Yeah, it's definitely different. I try to do as much homework as I could, just watching videos and getting prepared. We've helped Garrett Evans out there some this year. He got to win at the Apple Cup, I think, earlier this year, and with the new Seneca race car. So he's going very fortunate for him to let me drive his race car. So I think he'll have three cars in the field. So we'll go out there and just have some fun. I like going to new places, seeing some different faces, racing against different guys, and that you hear about all the time. And that I heard the country out there is just nice and beautiful. They're going to take us fishing, I think, on Thursday. So it's a great opportunity to go have some fun while we got some time here, and see what we got. So just really looking forward to it.
Any idea on the Oxford races? What are you planning on, your car or other cars? It just kind of depend on how long you have to get these new cars ready.
Well, it's we wanted to go to Lee. That was our main goal, and just everything the way it happened with the timing and everything, we just wasn't prepared. But after doing more research, man, I don't see. I want to go back to Oxford, especially they changed some of the rules as far as the ride heights and stuff like that, which it help our cars be able to compete out there. I wouldn't say just a little more, just easier. Really not easier. It's just more what we're accustomed to, I think. So, but after digging into some of the rules, unfortunately, Pass separates ourselves with a few more rules as far as chassis things that go on, how you build the cars versus what we do out here. So right now, it's not looking good. We've kind of had to get approval on some stuff, and some of those things have not passed. So, it's one of those things where we don't want to really go build race cars to run up there for 2 races. And I really like taking my own stuff. I like racing my own equipment and driving for our family team. So I'm just that Oxford's still up in the air, but it's not looking good at the moment.
Well, I know you got a lot on your plate, and of course we'll have it a lot of it covered here on Racing America. Good luck this weekend. Have fun up there in Wenatchee. I know you will, and we'll be watching.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
All right, that's Bubba Pollard. As we said, going to be seeing a lot more of him on Racing America. When we come back, we did mention Oxford, and we're going to check in on some recent testing at Oxford that Derek Nealon and Brandon Barker had. Some special pieces there, and we'll have that when we come back.
Communication is key in the racing world. When it comes to at-the-track communications, there is only one place to call. Racing Electronics is the #1 source for professional race communications worldwide. Over 20 years in the business proves their dedication to the sport. With every driver and crew communication, two-way radios and headsets, scanners and more, Racing Electronics is a one-stop communication source for all your motorsports needs. Before the green flag flies, make sure you have all your team communication gear from Racing Electronics. Stop by and see a Racing Electronics representative at the track near you. Visit their showroom in Concord, North Carolina, or order online at racingelectronics.com.
5-star bodies, the most advanced bodies on the market. Aerodynamically engineered, manufactured from the highest grade and lightest weight materials. Tested tough for optimum performance. The highest quality and most durable products you'll find anywhere. Our products help racers around the world reach victory lane. Winning never looked so good. Faster, lighter, stronger, better. 5-star.
This is Racing America, the biggest stars.
I enjoyed it. I felt good out there. I would love to come here and race.
And the inside info.
This is the T-bar setup. This clips into the bottom of the cam lock.
The only fast channel powered by the NASCAR Cup team owners who know all about speed.
How am I even going to drive for 3.5 hours without having a radio in the car?
The most NASCAR team content anywhere. Climb on board.
It's race number 2 for the Allen Turner Pro Late Models, Friday night, May 31st at Five Flags Speedway. RacingAmerica.tv has you covered with all the action, plus support classes. It's all Friday night, May 31st, only on RacingAmerica.tv.
Welcome back to the Bullring. We mentioned earlier that big race at Oxford coming up in July, the Celebration of America 300. And Derek Nealon, who is best known for spotting for Kyle Busch in the Cup Series, won this past truck race with Nick Sanchez. But he does a little bit of short track racing himself. And recently he was up at Oxford practicing, preparing for the upcoming race.
Really couldn't ask for a better day between you and your dad.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you say that because on the ride up here, I said to him, I looked over at him, he was driving the truck and trailer, and I said, I'll probably roll out there the first couple laps, and if that thing's not, leaking, smoking, bottoming out or something like that, I'll probably have a tear in my eye, like him and I have been doing this since I was 8 years old, and it's all he's known, all I've ever known, and Jeff Taylor built an awesome car, and we just finished the pieces and building the rest of it over the winter, and we come out here today and got a really good piece, something to work with, and just super fortunate, and I'm lucky to do it with not only my dad but my whole family.
I think, you can't get memories like this back. I think it's very important that his friends and his family are here to show their support for him. He supports us in so many different ways. He's not your typical male, you know, he's got a cool job, and he travels a lot, and he knows that we're all here home holding down the fort while he is gone. So yeah, I don't know, I mean, he does a lot for other people, and I feel like the best thing that we can do is show our support for him.
Thank you. You did a badass ride.
Today was a pretty good day.
Oh, excellent. I can't be any more happier than I am right now.
You know, Derek was not the only driver practicing for that big celebration of America 300 at Oxford. Brandon Barker was there. Archie St. Hilaire, you may remember him from Go Fast Racing. Well, he now owns a short track car. We've seen it race in various series here on Racing America. They also recently tested at Oxford, and here's what they found out.
Archie, you could be in Miami or Las Vegas with drinks in your hand. Instead, you're here at Oxford playing Speedway. You're drilling out bumpers, you're torquing wheels. Why do you do that? Why are you here?
You know, I raced Cup for 8 years and did Xfinity for 3, but to me this is more grassroots racing. I like it. I like being involved. You know, when you're in NASCAR, who was great to me, you kind of, they want you going around and you know, shaking hands, kissing babies. That's not my type of guy. I want to work on the car. So, I made out well there. I made out well in life. So now I'm having the fun part of my life by doing some late model racing, and we're here today testing, getting the car better because it's not good enough right now. And you know, I like working with these guys. They're all friends. We have fun with it, and we go from there.
Why Brandon Barker?
I see a lot of good racing in Brandon, good group around him. I know he can drive. I just got to give him a little better equipment at this point. I think the kid can win championships. He can win. We won the lead championship first time back from down south. We won the lead track championship, and I think we can do well in Pass, Granite State, all these divisions. But I think we can win some big races, and I like them.
And then the races.
Archie said himself he thinks you can drive. How's that make you feel?
I mean, it makes me feel good. Hopefully we can, put together some solid races. This car feels good, but longevity-wise, it's not quite there. And I know it's got to go good. It's just everybody says it's just a pile of metal. We just got to figure out what it likes, in long-distance races. You always want to win them. But I feel like if we can run good, all 300 laps or here in July and, carry this, build momentum to, all the rest of the big races and especially the 250. That's what we're looking for, is trying to get, more positive feedback and have a few good runs on long distance races.
Five-star bodies, the most advanced bodies on the market, aerodynamically engineered, manufactured from the highest grade and lightest weight materials, tested tough for optimum performance, the highest quality and most durable products you'll find anywhere. Our products help racers around the world reach victory lane. Winning never looked so good. Faster, lighter, stronger, better. 5-star.
UARA Super Late Models make a special midweek stop at Berlin Raceway for the Money in the Bank presented by Baker Auto Group. Come see the best Super Late Models in the country as they hit Michigan for the first of 3 stops in 2024. It's the Money in the Bank presented by Baker Auto Group at Berlin Raceway. For more info, go to UARA National on Facebook or catch it only on RacingAmerica.tv.
Communication is key in the racing world. When it comes to at-the-track communications, there is only one place to call. Racing Electronics is the #1 source for professional race communications worldwide. Over 20 years in the business proves their dedication to the sport. With every driver and crew communication, two-way radios and headsets, scanners and more, Racing Electronics is a one-stop communication source for all your motorsports needs. Before the green flag flies, make sure you have all your team communication gear from Racing Electronics. Stop by and see a Racing Electronics representative at the track near you. Visit their showroom in Concord, North Carolina, or order online at racingelectronics.com.
One of the biggest racing events to ever hit the Northwest comes to Wenatchee Valley Super Oval Saturday, June 1st for the Wenatchee 200. See the West Coast's best grassroots racers as they compete for 200 laps and battle for $25,000 to the winner, plus Thunder Cars and Legends. It's the Wenatchee 200 paying $25,000 to win at Wenatchee Valley Super Oval Saturday, June 1st. For more information, go to WVSO.com, and you can watch it only on RacingAmerica.tv.
My favorite grassroots racing memory was going to the racetrack with my parents, eating nachos in the hotel room.
I would say certainly it ramped up, and you could, just feel the pressure and the intensity and the importance of, that restart, the laps that were going on, in that moment. So the range of emotions that I went through from the time that we get out of the car, the lightning strikes, because we got out of the car without any rain, right? And the lightning strikes hit, and we're like, okay, we're going to get right back in. And then the rain came, and it's pouring down rain, and we thought for sure that they were going to call the race. And then whenever they didn't call the race and the rain stopped, well, then it's like, okay, well, there's no way they're going to call the race now, so we're going to get back after it. So I never in a million years thought that I was going to be winning that race on a rain-shortened event after they didn't call it whenever the rain stopped. I thought for sure we'd be completing the event.
That's what Christopher Bell had to say after the rain-shortened Coca-Cola 600 this past weekend. Joining us now for Toby's Take is Toby Christie, and it's not Taylor Kitchen. We're glad that Toby's back for his take.
It has been a while. We've had some other obligations on Tuesdays here recently, but finally, as we're recording this, is it Tuesday or is it Wednesday? What day is it?
Don't worry about
Doesn't
that.
matter.
It doesn't matter what day it is.
I'm not
because
sure.
People could watch this at any time, so who knows?
After all the rain delays and stuff,
Yeah.
I don't even remember what day we're on anymore. So
Yeah, I know. I was getting ready this morning, and my son Hampton was like, "This feels like a Saturday or Sunday," and I was like, "Yeah, but you're not going to school."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every day, Saturday and Sunday when you're on summer break.
Yeah, no kidding. So obviously, the huge news today about Stuart Haas, and I think that we expected that they were going to get rid of a couple of charters, but I know you've been following it now for a while, and the farther we went along in this, the more and more it looked like that's it.
Yeah, that's kind of what we had all been hearing. The rumors kept getting more and more persistent, and it looks like we finally have the news that we've been looking for happening. It's a real shame for everybody that's there. Hopefully, everyone that's there can find a new spot and find a new place. But yeah, I mean it's one of those things where you don't ever expect going into a season that a team with 4 cars, all 4 of them will not be continuing to the next season. So it's really interesting, and it kind of changes the culture in the entire garage, because now those charters are going to go places, and just a question of how this all shakes out for everybody.
Well, that's the thing, and who knows how this all lays out, but I know one theory I've seen is that Front Row picks up another charter and Josh Berry goes there. Chase Briscoe goes to Wood Brothers, and then that still leaves 3 charters, and then we don't know what's going to go on with Colleague. I mean, we could have 5 charters out there, here in a couple of months.
Yeah, there's been so many rumors. We've heard things so many different ways this whole process, and it's to the point where, I mean, literally any possible pathway of any of these charters being transitioned to anywhere else, we've heard every possible thing that you could hear on those happening. So I don't feel confident in knowing what will actually happen, because I even up to this week, we've heard so many different things. But you look at 2311, they're in play for a charter. You look at
now, did Spire, is the 71 chartered now?
Yeah, the 71 is
Okay.
chartered. Yeah, so that was part of the deal last year. Trackhouse, by the way, also in the conversation for charters. So there's a lot still to happen. Then we've got the charter agreement. We're still waiting on being final. And as Jordan Bianchi reported, and I've been hearing, there is possibility that teams will be limited to 3 charters.
Jess, what
going
are you
forward,
hearing
so.
on that?
I've heard absolutely nothing. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Are you sure?
What's a charter?
I don't want you to get in trouble. Why don't you ask a question that won't get you in trouble?
Oh, I've been sitting here trying to think of one. But
Yeah.
I will say, though, when we first started hearing grumblings of this, I'm like, I don't even know what that looks like. You know, sometimes when you hear rumors, you're like, oh, well, this is going to be how this plays out. Something like this, at least since I've been following the sport, I have no idea how this is going to play out. There's going to be a lot of talented people that need to find homes and land somewhere else. So, that could be a great thing, but it's just
It's tough.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I've never seen something like this play out before since.
Yeah. Well, and the real shame of it is that they had really started finding their rhythm. Like all of
They
those
just did a
teams.
rebrand.
Yeah, they did the rebrand going into the year. But the teams as a whole, look at Josh Berry, had a top 10 this week. I think he's had like 5 straight 16th or better finishes. I mean, really starting to get it. And you look at the 14, they've been pretty strong all year long. Gregson, I know he got involved in that early crash this week, but other than that, I mean, he's had a really good year as well. So it's really a shame to kind of see these guys kind of starting to hit their stride all of a sudden, and then this kind of thing happens. But we'll have to see how they close it out. Obviously, they're all kind of, fighting for their future. So I'm sure they're all going to be giving it their best effort.
Well, it'll be interesting to hash out, that's for sure. Thanks for joining us, Toby. When we come back, we're going to talk to the big winner this past weekend of the JIG CRA All-Stars at Owasso, Chase Pinsonneault. He'll be here when we come back.
If you love late models, RacingAmerica.tv is the place to be. It begins Friday night, May 31st, with Pro Late Models at Five Flags Speedway. Then on Saturday, the Oxford Championship Series returns to Oxford Plains Speedway, featuring super late models and more. While West Coast racers go for $25,000 to win in the Wenatchee 200 at WVSO. It's all only on RacingAmerica.tv, your home for pavement late models.
This is Racing America, the biggest stars.
I enjoyed it. I felt good out there. I would love to come here and race.
And the inside info.
This is the T-bar setup. This clips into the bottom of the cam lock.
The only fast channel powered by the NASCAR Cup team owners who know all about speed.
How am I even going to drive for 3.5 hours without having a radio in the car?
The most NASCAR team content anywhere. Climb on board.
Communication is key in the racing world. When it comes to at-the-track communications, there is only one place to call. Racing Electronics is the #1 source for professional race communications worldwide. Over 20 years in the business proves their dedication to the sport. With every driver and crew communication, two-way radios and headsets, scanners and more, Racing Electronics is a one-stop communication source for all your motorsports needs. Before the green flag flies, make sure you have all your team communication gear from Racing Electronics. Stop by and see a Racing Electronics representative at the track near you. Visit their showroom in Concord, North Carolina, or order online at racingelectronics.com.
Nashville Fairground Speedway is back in action Saturday night, June 8th. RacingAmerica.tv has you covered for a huge card of racing featuring pro late models, mods of mayhem, and more. It's all at Nashville Saturday, June 8th, only on RacingAmerica.tv.
Welcome back to the Bullring. I'm Alan Dietz, along with Jess Ballard, and joining us now, a driver who has certainly taken the world by storm here in pro late model racing this year, winner of the JIG CRA All-Stars this past weekend at Owasso. Chase Pinsonneault joining us now. And Chase, congratulations on the win, and thanks for being here with us today.
Thanks very much for having me, guys. I'm happy to be on.
Well, you win races, you get on the Bullring, so you're doing your part. What has it been for you this year that has kind of set the tempo? Because I think the JIG CRA All-Stars this year has I think it's definitely more competitive than we've seen it in recent years. The car counts are up there, yet you're out there winning races.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say compared to last year, the car count's looking pretty good. Lots of good guys. Like out of Wausau, we had Evan Shocko, super good racer, and Kyle Steckley. So looking pretty good, and it's been super fun to race with these guys so far.
Yeah, and for the folks that might not know, this is part of the Carson Hocevar Racing Development Program. You're one of Carson's drivers. What does it mean to have your name attached to a Cup Series driver, and how's Carson been helping you kind of hone your skills?
It's really, really cool. It means a lot to me. I've always wanted to work with somebody like Carson. Super good guy to learn from. Really awesome human. Had a lot of conversations with him, obviously. Helped me tons in Cordele for my first race. And up until now, we just haven't been able to get the luck that we've needed to pull off a win. But it's been super helpful to work with him.
I would say that Carson probably just as much as, the driver coaching, he's probably one of the best to learn, PR, yeah, just being
The
a
path.
personality.
And the path too.
The path, yeah. He brings so much knowledge to guys like you.
Yeah, 100%. He's done exactly what I'm doing now. He's been through the same process with the same people. So trying to follow in his footsteps right up to where he's at.
So, with that being said, and again, thinking of, Carson Hocevar's path as kind of a guide, do you foresee yourself doing any super late model races this year? Is it all pro late models? I mean, how are you guys kind of, I know you've got the Van Dorn hat on, and that's all part of the relationship too. So what does the plan look like moving forward?
So nothing's for sure yet, but we would like to throw a few super races in this year just to get our feet wet. We're really hoping to get deeper into the super late model racing world next year, but a couple races just to kind of ease ourselves into it this year would be super beneficial. So we are hoping to hit a few of them.
Do you have any races on the schedule, solidified that you're most looking forward to?
In the pro late stuff, yeah. Snowflake 100 at the end of the year, definitely. No super races have been solidified yet, but once they are solidified, I'll obviously be super looking forward to them. I've dreamed of racing supers since I was a kid, so it's going to be super fun if we can get some of that together.
We are fortunate here on Racing America to bring the APC United late model races to folks. Of course, a lot of great racetracks in Ontario. Kyle Steckley, as you mentioned, he was at Owasso this weekend, and we'll see him with APC coming up this weekend forward at Flamborough. Where did you cut your teeth at?
So we started racing in Delaware Speedway. It's a track in London, Ontario. Just doing some weekly stuff with a super stock. It's a lot like a street stock. What we had back home. That year went really well. We had some wins actually at Flamborough, like you were talking about. We won towards the end of the year in the last 5 races. We won 3 of them. So we kind of started through that. And then I had kind of always wanted to get into a late model. That's what my end goal kind of was back then. But we ran the late model, ran the same track at Delaware again. And then we did some of the APC stuff just kind of later in the year. To get our feet wet. Towards the end of last year is when we kind of got in the works with Van Dorn and met Zach, my crew chief, and figured this whole Carson Hocevar racing would be a good fit for me. So that's kind of how we started and got involved with the program.
Well, Chase, again, congratulations. We'll be following you throughout the year here on Racing America, and wish you nothing but the best of luck moving forward.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, guys.
All right, that's Chase Pinsonneault. When we come back, Gabe Brown will check in with us after a big win in New Hampshire.
It's the season opener at Spencer Speedway. Friday, May 31st, the Race of Champions Sportsman Modified Series returns to their stomping grounds at Spencer Speedway in Williamson, New York. Come see the Race of Champions Sportsman Modified, Superstocks, 602 Sportsman, Fast and Furious Wilbur Chew Pullet 4-cylinders, and the Wilbur Chew Pullet Super 6s, where every lap counts. Brought to you by the Race of Champions, Wilbur Chew Pullet, and Billy Whitaker Ford. Friday night, May 31st, Spencer Speedway, racing at 7:15. You can't miss it.
Communication is key in the racing world. When it comes to at-the-track communications, there is only one place to call. Racing Electronics is the #1 source for professional race communications worldwide. Over 20 years in the business proves their dedication to the sport. With every driver and crew communication, two-way radios and headsets, scanners and more, Racing Electronics is a one-stop communication source for all your motorsports needs. Before the green flag flies, make sure you have all your team communication gear from Racing Electronics. Stop by and see a Racing Electronics representative at the track near you. Visit their showroom in Concord, North Carolina, or order online at racingelectronics.com.
This is Racing America, the biggest stars.
I enjoyed it. I felt good out there. I would love to come here and race.
And the inside info.
This is the T-bar setup. This clips into the bottom of the cam lock.
The only fast channel powered by the NASCAR Cup team owners who know all about speed.
How am I even going to drive for 3.5 hours without having a radio in the car?
The most NASCAR team content anywhere. Climb on board.
Oxford Plains Speedway is the place to be if you love racing. Saturday and Sunday, June 8th and 9th. The Oxford Championship Series hits the track Saturday, featuring super late models and more. And on Sunday, it's the Mid-Coast Excavation 150 for the past super late model, plus modifieds and street stocks. Come enjoy a weekend of fast fun and be at Oxford Plains Speedway June 8th and 9th, or you can catch it all only on racingamerica.tv.
Welcome back to the Bullring. Alan and Jess here with you this afternoon. Hope you got to tune in this past weekend. If you did, maybe you saw the Walls Platinum Series late model race number 1 from White Mountain Motorsports Park, and the winner was Gabe Brown. Gabe joining us now. Gabe, congratulations on the win this past weekend.
Thank you, and thanks for having me too.
Hey, it's like we say, you win, you
win, you get a spot on the Bullring.
That's right. That's right. You got, well, first off, I do want to talk to you about the race. How did it play out, and how is it any different than an ACT race at White Mountain?
Not really. There's still a lot of good cars. Moltz was there, and Cody had his car there, and there's just the weekly guys too are really good up there, and I kind of went there with the attitude of we were going to be good, and then struggled all day through practice, and struggled in the heat race, and struggled in the consi, and started us pretty deep in the race, and then had to chip away at it on the bottom all night.
That's kind of how we do the Bullring.
Yeah, that's exactly how we do the Bullring. And we sometimes we're victorious at the end. Yeah. Yep. Well, I mean, it was a great field. I heard the crowd was good. Mm-hmm. It was a fun, holiday weekend race. And take us through the race, because it got kind of exciting there at the end.
Yeah, Fisher gave me the bottom, and I was like, oh man, this is my chance to make it happen. And I had to run him a little bit wide. The bottom went away as the race went on, and I think we were really only one of the only cars that could run the bottom, and went from 13th to 2nd, and only passed like 2 cars on the bottom. And the thing was just really good. Everything we tried this weekend worked good, and I took the lead on that late race restart, and definitely wasn't going to give him the bottom after I took the lead.
We talk about the golden eras of racing, depending on wherever they are. And in New England and Canada, you think about guys like Dave Dion and Junior Hanley and, Jamie Obie, and so many different guys that were there, Dick McCabe. And this has got to be a golden age for a guy like you, because you got all these big races up there. Of course, the 250 coming up, the Celebration of America, $40,000 to win at Oxford, the big Midsummer Classic at White Mountain. You got the Walls Platinum Ford Series and the great weekly program at Oxford, and Pass and Act. I mean, it just seems like a great time to be up there.
Yeah, the racing up here right now, what Tom and Chris and all the guys up here are doing it's pretty cool. When I started, there wasn't really any big races up here other than the Oxford 250. That was it. And then we got into the ACT car, and you can run the 250, the 200, and you got the big races at White Mountain and Thunder Road. And then Tom adding in that big race in July and doing the 100 lappers at Oxford. It's made it a pretty fun for us to run our weekly stuff. And when we have an off week, we can go run our weekly late model. We can run the pass car weekly somewhere, and it's all good paying stuff, and there's always a really good field of cars too.
So what's next for you guys?
We're gonna take the weekend off and go test our pass car at Oxford and try to work on some things there, because the rules change over the winter, just kind of helped other people, and we got to get back on track a little bit and work on some things, and hopefully get a lot better come July for Oxford. And then I think we got Seekonk next Saturday and double features at Oxford on Sunday.
What did that frame height rule? How did it affect you guys? You know, what you think? You say, oh well, it's a little bit of area here from the bumper to the ground, but it sounds like it's a little bigger deal than that.
Yeah, it's just like we've always run the same build shocks for 5-6 years now, and never have had a problem passing frame height, and that's why we ran those shocks, because we didn't have to fight. Now it just opens up the room to play a little bit more on different build shocks and stuff that's a little bit better, and we just got to figure out what is better.
Well, we get to see a lot of you on Racing America, and we enjoy that. Congratulations this past weekend, and good luck. I know you're going to be a player in these big races this summer.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
All right, that's Gabe Brown. When we come back, we're going to tell you what's around the corner here on Racing America.
It's the season opener at Spencer Speedway. Friday, May 31st, the Race of Champions Sportsman Modified Series returns to their stomping grounds at Spencer Speedway in Williamson, New York. Come see the Race of Champions Sportsman Modified, Super Stocks, 602 Sportsman, Fast and Furious Wilbur Chew Pullet 4-cylinders, and the Wilbur Chew Pullet Super 6s, where every lap counts. Brought to you by the Race of Champions, Wilbur Chew Pullet, and Billy Whitaker Ford. Friday night, May 31st, Spencer Speedway, racing at 7:15. You can't miss it.
5-star bodies, the most advanced bodies on the market. Aerodynamically engineered, manufactured from the highest grade and lightest weight materials. Tested tough for optimum performance. The highest quality and most durable products you'll find anywhere. Our products help racers around the world reach victory lane. Winning never looked so good. Faster, lighter, stronger, better. 5-star.
One of the biggest racing events to ever hit the Northwest comes to Wenatchee Valley Super Oval Saturday, June 1st for the Wenatchee 200. See the West Coast's best grassroots racers as they compete for 200 laps and battle for $25,000 to the winner, plus Thunder Cars and Legends. It's the Wenatchee 200, paying $25,000 to win at Wenatchee Valley Super Oval Saturday, June 1st. For more information, go to WVSO.com, and you can watch it only on RacingAmerica.tv.
I'm Greg Ives, and you're watching Racing America.
So glad you've been able to be here with us today on the Bullring. And, we had a lot of great racing this past weekend here on Racing America. And
It's what do they say, the greatest weekend in
it is motorsports.
Yeah.
And that's just the big guys. That doesn't count.
But we contribute too.
We do contribute a lot, and we got a lot more coming up here the next couple of weeks here on Racing America. We want to remind you about, you can catch all these streams here with us. Friday night, the Alan Turner Pro Late Models at Five Flags Speedway. Also Friday night, opening night at Spencer Speedway in New York. Saturday, also in New York. Must-see racing sprint cars in action at Lancaster Speedway. Arie Luyendyk Jr., a lot of good drivers planning on being there this weekend. Oxford Plains Speedway, the Oxford Championship Series will be back in action, featuring super late models. We'll be back at Wiscasset Speedway as well for Pro Stocks and NEMA Midgets. Then we cap it all off with the Wenatchee 200, $25,000 to win at Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. You got Bubba Pollard, Jacob Gomes, Michael Atwell's going out there, and then all these great Northwest guys too.
Yeah, I always forget. We kind of hit on this last time. I always forget where Washington is. So earlier in the show, when you're like going all the way out to Washington, I was like,
DC's
I guess
not
it
that
is.
far.
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah. Well, that'll be good. That'll be a good one.
Sunday be the graduation celebration at Slinger Speedway up in Wisconsin. Couple of weeks, June 8th, APC United Late Models will be at Flamborough Speedway in Ontario. The ROC Sportsmen will also be at Holland Speedway in New York. Mission Valley in Montana, they'll kick off the Montana Super 5 Series. Nashville, the Pro Late Models and Mods of Mayhem. Oxford Plains, Celebration of America Qualifier. This is all on June the 8th. Salem, King of the High Banks Part 2 at Salem. And then Sunday, June the 9th, Pass will be at Oxford Plains and the JIG CRA All-Stars at Corrigan Oil. And we'll wind it all down at Slinger. And that's also my parents' anniversary. So I'm sure they'll be at home watching all that great racing.
I'm sure they will. Happy early anniversary.
Yeah, 51
Mr. and
years.
Mrs. Deeds. Holy cow, 51.
That's right.
Wow.
All right, when we come back, we'll wrap it all up. Another episode of the Bullring.
Nashville Fairground Speedway is back in action Saturday night, June 8th. RacingAmerica.tv has you covered for a huge card of racing featuring Pro Late Models, Mods of Mayhem, and more. It's all at Nashville Saturday, June 8th, only on RacingAmerica.tv.
5-star bodies, the most advanced bodies on the market, aerodynamically engineered, manufactured from the highest grade and lightest weight materials, tested tough for optimum performance. The highest quality and most durable products you'll find anywhere. Our products help racers around the world reach victory lane. Winning never looked so good. Faster, lighter, stronger, better. 5-star.
One of the biggest racing events to ever hit the Northwest comes to Wenatchee Valley Super Oval Saturday, June 1st for the Wenatchee 200. See the West Coast's best grassroots racers as they compete for 200 laps and battle for $25,000 to the winner, plus Thunder Cars and Legends. It's the Wenatchee 200 paying $25,000 to win at Wenatchee Valley Super Oval Saturday, June 1st. For more information, go to WVSO.com and you can watch it only on RacingAmerica.tv.
Get up on your feet, race fans.
It's race number 2 for the Allen Turner Pro Late Models Friday night, May 31st at Five Flags Speedway. RacingAmerica.tv has you covered with all the action plus support classes. It's all Friday night, May 31st, only on RacingAmerica.tv.
Want to thank all of our guests today, Arie Luyendyk Jr., Bubba Pollard, Chase Pinsonneault, Gabe Brown, of course, Toby Christie, and all of you guys for joining us as well. Don't forget our 24/7 Fast channel, Racing America, and you can catch out exclusively on the Racing America channel on connected devices this weekend. Drifting, June 8th at Lake Erie Speedway. That'll actually not be this weekend, but the next weekend. Be sure to check that out on June the 8th at Lake Erie Speedway.
Which is
in Pennsylvania.
And are you yeah, no, we did learn that.
We did learn that. Or at least I did.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways.
Well, we're going to go take our geography test. I have to just bow it out now and deep saying so long, and we'll see you next time on the board.